At this point, I need help. I'm always making my outfits the night before the occasion, and this is bad. I keep promising myself never again, but every single time I keep saying never again, I always do it. Anyways, guys, let's make this boo together that I wore for my baby's dedication. Here are the materials I used. I used my lace fabric, some doll face, bias tape, and of course my sewing thread. Okay, now let me just run you through the outline of this boo. So this is what it looks like from the top to the bottom. That's like 1 inch for neck depth and 4 inches for neck width. Okay, then I slanted my shoulder down by 1 inch. Okay, then that's my hip point. Then I just took the measurement of my hip downwards. Okay, so it's just very simple. So this is what we are working with. So for the front as well, the neck depth, the neck width is 4 inches, the neck depth is 6 inches. From there, that's my hip point. So you're just going to do like this curve from the circumference of your arm down to your hip point, and they're going to take the measurement down like that. It's just very simple and easy. This boo is very simple and easy to cut. Okay, to start, I divided the 3 yards of lace into 2 equal halves, and I went ahead to fold each half into 2 to represent the front part of the boo and the back part of the boo. If you don't know what a boo is, it's all these free gowns that Nigerian women like to wear. Okay, and after folding them, I laid them on each other, and the first thing I went ahead to do is to mark the back and cut it immediately, because you guys know when you're marking lace, it's always very frustrating. So the neck width I worked with for the back is 4 inches, and the neck depth is 1 inch. Neck width 4 inches, neck depth 1 inch. I drew it and I went ahead to cut, because you know that with lace you will mark and you will not see. So for the front, I work with a neck width of 4 inches and a neck depth of 6 inches, and I also cut it immediately. I mark it, because if you don't cut it, the truck will disappear like spirits. Anyways, I went to the side and I marked my shoulder slant. I came down by 1 inch and I connected it to my neckline point, by a slant. And of course, I went ahead to cut my shoulder lines. Okay, cutting this boo gown is very easy and simple. Time was against me, so I had to come up with something easy and simple. So this is it, guys. Now from the top, I want to get my hip point, because on the outline I showed you guys, that is where the whole design started from. So from the top, I marked my hip point. Okay, and the simple way to get your hip point is to use your measuring tape from your shoulder down to your hip point. Whatever it is, you just mark it on the fabric. Okay, so I marked the hip point in the middle and the side to get an accurate measurement. So from the bottom now, I'm marking my hips. Okay, now my hips is 11 inches, so I added 1 extra inch for ease, so it will be free on me, then half an inch for sewing allowance. So that's what gave me 11.5 inches. Okay, so after that, I marked my hips down to that hip point, and from that hip point I just drew the curve, and this is what I'm cutting, is the outline I'm cutting here right now. So you guys, it's very easy to cut and to sew. This is not like an in-depth tutorial, this is more like a sew along, so don't come and crucify me. Okay, you guys should even applaud me for being under pressure and still filming for you guys. Okay, so this is what we have here. Okay, so this is what we have here. You can see how simple and easy. That point where the curve started from, that is my hip point. Okay, now this is what the back part looks like, and this is what the front part looks like. Okay, I've gone ahead to lay the back part or the front part on the back part, and the first thing you are going to do is you are going to join your shoulder slant, then turn over the neckline with the bias, and you join the sides. Very simple, very easy, very straightforward. Okay, now I took it over to my sewing machine and I joined my shoulder slant. Okay, I did this for both parts of the boo. Okay, and I picked up the bias. It's time to turn over the neckline. Now this turning over the neckline for me was a little tricky, because initially I turned it over, top stitch, and I top stitch it again on the lace, and it came out funny. So what I did was I joined the bias to the neckline, okay, then I turned it over and top stitched so it will not puff out. Then the remaining thing is I'm going to the remaining top stitching, instead of top stitching, I'm going to use like my needle and thread to hold down the bias so the neckline is clean, is smooth, and is beautiful. Now after turning over the neckline, I just went ahead to join the sides of the dress. Now the point where you start joining from the side, after from your shoulder, you mark the circumference of your sleeve, then you just join from that point downwards. You just join the sides of the gown. Okay, so I did this for both sides of the gown, and when I'm braiding, the gown is ready. It's time for the lining. Okay, now for the lining, I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into 4. That is my zip allowance. So to just take the zip allowance out of, not really take it out of the way, but to put it in order so I don't make mistake when I'm cutting, I've gone ahead to fold my zip allowance in. Mainly this thing doesn't have zip allowance for this lining. It's just to give the lining fit on your body. Okay, so I went ahead to secure my zip allowance with some office paint. Then from the top I marked 6.5 inches. Okay, I marked 6.5 inches. My neck width I marked 4.5 inches, and I just connected my markings. This is more like a circle. Is this circle they call it? Circle neckline, or I like to call it U neckline, U part, whatever. Everybody can call it what they want. Okay, and I went ahead to draw my armhole. Now my armhole point, the armhole point I used here is 9 inches. I didn't use like the normal standard 8 inches we use. Okay, so after that I just went ahead to cut my armhole curve, my shoulder slant, and now I'm cutting the neck depth. Okay, so to I'm already stammering, guys, forgive me. It was on a fold, so I had to open up the side. Now I've gone ahead to join the pieces of the back together. So this is what the back part looks like. Now to kickstart the sewing the lining for this Bubu gown, I just laid the front part on the back part, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to join my shoulder slant. I'm going to go ahead to use bias tape to tape the neckline and the armhole. Okay, then I'm going to join the sides, and I'm going to turn over the hem. So now I've taken it over to my sewing machine, and I've joined the shoulder slant for one side, and I'm joining the second side as well. Okay, then I just took the bias tape and I'm using it to turn over the neckline and the armhole curve. Okay, so after this you want to top stitch, then you want to top stitch again to put everything in place. For the lace I top stitched once because I used my needle and thread to do the second top stitching. Okay, so after this, the next thing I did was I joined the sides of the lining, okay, of the lace lining, or the lining of the lace. You guys understand what I'm saying? I joined the sides, both sides, okay, the left hand side and the right hand side. Then I went ahead to turn over the hem, okay, 1 inch sewing allowance. And guys, this is the gown. Okay, you can see I was strutting like one beauty queen. Nobody will know I made this the night before. If you enjoyed this video, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in my next. Also pray for me so that I'll stop making clothes the night before, because I really want to break this bad habit. Send help, send prayers. I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.